Hi, everybody. It's me, Jessica Lahore.
And girl, you already know it's me, Kelela Cortez, honey.
And we are your Denver Divas, bringing you another fabulous review of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13, but Episode 3. Before we get into the review, everybody, make sure that you go down, comment, subscribe, go to Kelela Cortez's channel, my channel, hit the notifications button so you don't miss out on any kind of content coming your way. But with that being said, get ready, get set, because we're going to do a fabulous review of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13, Episode 3. Okay, so we start off this episode. We finally get to see all of the other half of the queens in the pork chop lounge come into the workroom, and they're around the table. They're out of drag. They're looking at each other, and I think that this group has some good trade of the season in this group.
Very that, because the losers may be losers as far as drag goes, but honey, they won the trade of the season.
Yeah, they did.
They won that. At least they won something. You know? you know?
At least they won something. They end up getting the call from RuPaul because they're doing a similar challenge to what the other cast did the week prior. They're doing Lady in the Vamp instead of daytime and nighttime whore. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it never made sense to me because I also feel like she said something about Lady in the Vamp before. And I regret what I said about Candy Muse last week because now it makes sense with like her Dracula moment. But also it's like it's all very confusing. I will say off top, I was impressed by the 6-person lip sync or whatever, the six lip syncs, but I'm not impressed by this 3 episodes without a single elimination. I'm over it.
I'm not either. I want to see something. And the thing is, I wish that this group was doing a different challenge, but now I get what you're saying. They were given a list of things that they needed to bring, and I thought that too. Candy probably could have had Lady in the Vamp depending on how things went. Just like everybody brought a LeMay look, and I'm sure everybody brought the sheer.
Sheer. So, if you want to know something, though, I feel like they are trying to play this out where the finale leads up to a moment where we will be able to be in person and do a live. You know how the finale usually works. I feel like that's what they're trying to do. It's boring at this point. I'm pissed. I'm bothered that no one has went home, specifically Elliot with 2 T's.
I wish that there was an elimination. They're dragging it out a little bit. I wish that these challenges were different than the last week's and not just with a different group. I wish that there was something that was different.
Yeah, because I think they could have also, we've seen this fashion runway challenge before.
So in order, the first one down the runway is Denali.
Let me tell you why I'm saying Say it with me. Let me tell you why I'm saying though, because her look was cute. Her look was super cute. I'm not knocking the look. I'm not knocking the designer. But when we're talking about runway fashion, like I think Vivienne Westwood, I think Dolce & Gabbana, I think Alexander McQueen. And to me, this second group already from the jump with Denali is just giving you drag runway. And clearly we're here doing drag. Nobody's denying that. But the challenge for me was fashion runway.
This is just like runway mixed with drag. It's just a drag version of it. I don't think that it's bad. They work, but I get what you're saying.
If we are having a challenge about runway fashion, then it should be runway fashion, not drag fashion, because what they're giving could maybe just work for best drag, because that's also a challenge.
Well, and the drag fashion can be used for the main stage for some of the challenges. That's where I want to see some of the drag fashion.
Exactly. I think for this specific challenge, and they keep calling it a mini challenge, I'm like, honey, if this is mini, I want to know what maxi is. They're showing me a reason why the other girls came out on top.
What did you think of Denali's vamp look? It was supposed to be inspired by Alexander McQueen.
Let me tell you. That's how that's how I feel about it. I got so excited. She served it for me. Honestly, the nighttime saved a lot of them for me.
I agree.
Looks saved what they were doing. But that start off with the daytime was just like, all right, girl, this is why.
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't what you were hoping to see.
Exactly. It was not bad. The look itself was cute, but it wasn't daytime fashion runway moment.
Joey J was next down the runway. And I said that Joey J's were things that I have seen before. I like that this is the moment that they chose not to wear a wig because I thought that it worked for this part of the episode. I didn't like it later down the line, but I said it looks very it's mall. Like these are things that I would go to a mall and I could find and I would put on my body.
Unfortunately, the looks she pulled on both runways, night and day, were something I've definitely seen drag queens here in Denver wearing. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's very that aesthetic. It was still cute. So, but also maybe I'm giving Joey J a pass because she's so hot. I still don't. Again, yeah, like Denali though, I would say that it still doesn't fit the theme. It's just still not Vivienne Westwood, Dolce & Gabbana.
But that's not what I'm thinking of. Like that's just part of like what you're thinking of for a runway. And when I think that I think Denali's looks push that fine line of am I going too far into the drag world? Because you see beautiful fashions like that on a runway.
Do we?
Yeah. For sure.
Today?
No, not today. I'm just saying in general, you can see beautiful fashions like that on a runway. They're not all Vivienne Westwood.
Yes, you're not wrong about that. You can see stuff like that, but it still just wasn't it for me. And Joey J though took it to a whole other and by other level, I don't mean she took it to this level.
No, I agree.
For this level. Like she just made it look like you went to the mall for fashions, like you said. It's like
if this is a mini challenge, this is a very important mini challenge. I think that people did not try hard enough for both weeks. They didn't think about really what they were doing. They took it as like I'm walking the main stage of Drag Race challenge, and that's not what I think the assignment was. So then Rosé, how do you feel about Rosé's? I love both of the looks a lot. I thought that it was a mixture again with drag and fashion kind of in that with the art pop look. But when she came down for her vamp look, I thought that it was definitely better than Denali's because they had similar feels. One was kind of like, what do you expect to buy online? What do you get in the mail kind of comparison? And
very that. Yeah, no, I agree. I will say her daytime look was just like, it was too much. But then again, like I've said, I'm going through this like actual fashion runway mindset. So her daytime look just came off a little too drag for me. It didn't make sense as daytime at all for me. But her nighttime look, bitch, it truly was the only one I stopped and said, oh my God. Her nighttime look, it looked like there was attention to detail. It looked like she really thought through what a runway for nighttime would look like.
I completely agree. Next on the line was Tamesha, and I said this, I mean, I think I'll say this the entire time that I see Tamesha. I have a soft spot, again, for a more seasoned queen that knows her body, knows her age. This is a great example, I think, on these runways where, like, Olivia wore something that made her seem older. Like, Tamesha was wearing something that she rocked and that she fit and that looked like it was meant for her.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that Tamesha definitely played to her strengths and what she would look like in that form. You know, she didn't we talked about how Candy kind of went outside of the box to fit the mold of what was happening.
Yeah.
Tamesha did not do that. She stayed in Tamesha's lane and she did what Tamesha would do. The only issue I have is the daytime look. She did say that it was like a Joan Crawford by the pool kind of a look. And it's like, girl, who is wearing that by the pool? No. I ain't wearing no pantsuit by the pool.
Maybe the lace part of it. Like the lace over like a swimsuit, but not over a harem pant jumpsuit.
Yeah, definitely not that. I just didn't see it for what she was explaining. And in that sense, I wish she just wouldn't have explained it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The nighttime look, I will say, was beautiful.
I had no idea it was hair.
Yeah, I will say it was gorge, but it's still, I don't know.
It was
you appreciate that dated stuff. I can't appreciate the dated stuff. I'm just like, at some point, even though you are an older queen, you have a responsibility to grow with the times, and I don't feel like that was growing with the times.
I have to disagree. I'm excited that she stayed true to herself a lot with that, but I don't want to see this to same. I want to see elevated like times for the rest of the season, like episode.
Exactly.
The next queen down the runway is Utica. She did like a ball look for her daytime one. She did then a big like vintagey Marie Antoinette style vamp look for her nighttime thing, which I thought put Candy's look to shame. It was kind of that same feeling where I was like, what did I see online? What did I get? So I get the crossover. And I like her creativity. Is it something that I would think of first go to mind? But one thing I really love about watching fashion shows is that there are things that I don't normally see, but it's done in a way that's not draggy. Like, I feel like this was really thought out.
Yeah, well, and I would say that about Utica as a whole. Like, she comes off as a costumey queen to people who don't know fashion. But if you know fashion, she's giving you what I'm talking about, that Vivienne Westwood, that Dolce Gabbana, that moment. She's giving you this shit that you don't expect to see out there. And I think that's what's so important about her. She has such an eye for detail and an eye for fashion. Also, I must say that our special guest tonight on our viewing party calls her Utica. And I love that.
Why?
Well, they got it wrong on accident, but I love Utica. Like Z or OOH.
To make you
Utica.
Next down the runway was Commore Hall, who barely made it on time. If you're getting on Drag Race and you know you take 6 hours to paint, it frustrates me to hear, oh, well, I've never done a paint in 1 hour before, so let's give it a go. It frustrates me hearing that.
It pisses me off. I really want to throw my whole set around. And I don't know a single bitch. I personally do not know a single bitch that takes 5 hours and looks like they take 5 hours. She is gorgeous. She is gorgeous.
But she doesn't look 6 hours, 5, 6 hours. No.
And I will tell you, we talked about this on the phone the other day outside of recording, that I am recently taking a little longer than I normally do because I just want to be perfect, right? I want to look great. But if I painted for 5 hours, I feel like I would still look the same way I do if I painted in 3 hours. Or, I mean, maybe not 1 hour. That is kind of crazy.
Even if you don't want to spend an hour on a face, you should have in your back pocket, if you're working like you are, a 30-minute face, a 20-minute face, a 45-minute face, an hour, and you're like, okay, this is what I cut from my routine. This is my loophole. I do a smoky eye instead of a crease. If I have 2 hours, this is what I get. And you should know that. If someone, like the mini challenge, you have 20 minutes to get in drag, great, I know what to do.
So I commend her. I can't even think about her looks because I was so bothered by that. But her looks were not even good enough to make up for it.
No, they were they were clean and simple.
Yeah, they were clean.
Clean. One was all black, one was all white.
And I feel like I've said this before. I also just find it very odd when young drag queens want to look like they're older without an intent to look older. Like, if you want to be a grandma, I get that.
Look, that's your gig.
Trying to look old, like her first look was just like so dated for her age, but it didn't look vintage. If I started back, I would just say, let's pass over her.
Well, we're about to, and we're going to move on because they have to do a challenge to RuPaul's Drag Race Phenomenon. Remember that one. Another song. They have to write lyrics to and perform it. Out of all of the people, Rosé's the only like professional singer, the only person that is like really confident in that. Tamesha and Denali are the only ones that speak up about having dancing experience. And then Commore pretty much says, I don't know how to dance or anything. So right now, all we're getting is that she can look pretty in an outfit. And that's not really the best impression. I'm glad that that was said later on in the critiques that was like said to her. There are too many cooks in the kitchen.
At this point, we're all confused. Yeah, chaotic, which, I mean, if you know me, I love a chaotic moment. But at some point, it kind of ties back to what we were talking about last week with Elliot with two T's. Like, at what point do you step up and say, I know what I'm doing, let me do it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or do you just step back and just let people have their downfall? Unfortunately, in this group, there really wasn't anyone. Even Rose, I love Rose for what she like portrays, but I still don't even think she was like what an Elliot with two T's, a professional dancer, really is. But this song, first of all, I never heard of the song before at all. But if you're going to do that song, hopefully the verses would fix it. And the verses just didn't do it for me.
We can just do a quick like shady sip or cheers. Shady sip or cheers for the looks in the performance challenge this time. Okay. And we can do a shady sip if we liked their verse or not. And if we want to talk about it, we can totally talk about it too. So yeah. Denali, I have a shady sip for her look.
The look?
Was it? The verse? Cheers.
Because she got me
great kickstart.
Yeah, she got me into it.
Next, in terms of the verse, was Joey J. I thought the verse was cute, but it's a shady sip for me for the look.
Joey J, shady sip, sis.
Commore was next. It made me think of the Roxy Andrews verse of the season. It's a shady sip for both for me.
Girl, I ain't even got no more drink left, and I'm sipping on her.
Rose was next. It's a cheers. Both the verse, I thought the verse was the best, and she looked great.
Her vocals were on point. It's what I expected from Rose. Mm-hmm. So I can't say anything about it. I'm gonna cheers you to it.
Cheers. Next is Tamesha, and I said I loved this, and the reason that I said I love this because I was like, I would really like to see what she'd look like in like a typical drag outfit of like a bodysuit and thigh highs because we haven't seen that from her yet, and that's why I liked it.
She didn't give me anything terrible. She didn't give me anything like wow, you know. So it was like, all right, slay. So I'm gonna give it like this kind of cheers.
Okay. After that, it's Utica, and I think that Utica from the start had the most standoutish outfit from the start.
We will remember this moment forever, no matter what you do on the rest of the show. I think Utica made a verse and a situation and a look that we would know it was Utica or Utica.
Cheers. Did the group number, they have the runway, and it's sheer. They call it We Are Here and Sheer. It's not that clever. RuPaul is in a beautiful orange gown. I think that she looks amazing. It's like my favorite outfit of this season that she's worn. Looks great.
Raven just has this all down pat. Down pat. She looks gorgeous.
She looks great.
No matter what you think about RuPaul, she's still gorgeous.
Nicole Byer is the guest judge, and I think that I want to see Nicole Byer as a guest judge way more often. She's funny as fuck. She's chaotic, and I love everything.
Yeah, I love her so much, but I just could not get it. Repro kept talking about this too. Like, her wig was just so hilarious to me.
It was so big.
It was so huge, and I know what she was doing. She was like, girl, if I'm going on here,
I'm going on here.
And she was put in drag, girl. And I just couldn't stop laughing because I love when girls do that. I love it. I know a lot of gay people are like, get the straight girls out of my bar. I love when girls do that shit. And she just took it to the extra level. So I love her.
There are only a couple guest judges that'll do that. And I love when they come a little bit crazier and they give Michelle Visage a run for her money.
What else are you supposed to do? Like, why else are you coming on there? We already see you as your normal self. Because you're a celebrity, obviously, if you're going on the show. I want to see you as yourself in a drag form, or at least a upgraded form of yourself. So she slayed it for me.
She did. She really did. They had this challenge. It was they had to wear sheer of some kind. The first on the runway is Denali.
The look itself was cute, but now knowing that it was sheer, I'm like, oh no, honey. Oh no. It was sheer fabric, but it was sheer.
Yeah, Denali's look was not sheer. It was not And I'm over the really long braid thing. I think this is the fourth long, like, to the floor braid that we've seen in all the contestants. I think this is Denali's second long braid, and I'm kind of past it. I didn't hate it, I should say, but I did not like it at all. I really just didn't like it. After Denali comes down the runway, it's Joey J. And I didn't like it, but the thing is, if the outfit was on somebody else, I might like it.
I've seen it. I've seen it. I've heard of it.
After Joey comes down the runway, it's Commore. And to me, this is what I wanted with Sheer, though. I think that this is what you talked about. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful, but it's still just predictable for me in drag.
Oh, I didn't think so. I mean, this is what you described. The idea of being like nude and see-through, like as a gown or as a dress and gorgeous.
Yeah. Yes, it was. But I'm saying, like, in general, like, again, that's what I would have thought too, is to go to nude and naked. But I would like to believe, maybe I wouldn't do this, but I would like to believe if someone was going to do nude and naked, they would take it past a drag point. Like, I think that everybody who thought nude and naked would have done that kind of nude and naked. And again, I will say, she wears far too big of hair for her little body.
That's her gig. If I were to see more of the runways that looked like Commore's, then I would think what you just said. It's predictable, but she was the only one. She was like 8 kimonos. Okay. She was the only one doing it.
Yeah, I can get into that, because if everybody did do a nude illusion naked moment and she did that, it would come off very basic.
Yeah.
I hear you. She fits in. She fits into what I'm saying, but I guess I still have very hard feelings towards her for
she's the new she's this cast's Elliot with 2 T's. You've got feelings.
Yeah, but honestly, I loved her until I realized, like, girl, if you're a legend in drag, this is not it. This is just not it.
After Commore, Rosé comes down, and I said, from the neck up, I like it. I like her makeup. I like her hair. And from the neck down, I didn't get the shears around the wrists. I didn't understand the reuse, renew, recycle outfit, plastic kind of gig. That's what I got. I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, she ruined it. She had that amazing nighttime look and then went directly into a look that just did not. Because I forgave her performance look. Yeah. It was drag. It was perfect for Rosé. Again, one of those things that you would go into New York and see her do. But then in this moment, it was like, honey, the episode was the challenge was sheer. You had sheer fabric on you, on your arms. But the rest of it, where was the sheer? I didn't understand it. And then on top of that, it wasn't cute.
Next was Tamesha. And I honestly loved the gown. I loved her hair. I thought she looked beautiful. I think it was an overstatement for RuPaul to be like, this is the best gown that's been on the runway. And I was like, no, girl, it was not. This is not the best gown. Did it fit her great? Do I appreciate that she made her outfit? Absolutely. Was she snatched in the face in her hair? Was she pageant ready? Absolutely. But
yeah, I was also so confused by her continually talking about Tandiamon. Like, that's cute and all, but it's like, you're not Tandy.
No, the mention was cute, but then it rolled into like talking about it and then back into Untucked. And I'm like, at this point, she's one of your kids, but that should not be your name.
You're not the one that fell from the stage. That video is iconic.
Yeah.
You're a drag artist. You should have seen that video by now. If you've been doing drag for 2 days, you should have already seen it. But that's not Tamesha. So I'm confused about why she keeps bringing it up. Tamesha, to me, it didn't sell it. It didn't sell it for me.
To me, it did sell it for me. And I thought it was beautiful. I didn't think it was much of a hype as RuPaul made it. But yeah, I did like it a lot.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by it didn't sell it. It did the challenge, but it just didn't sell the best gown on the runway.
No, absolutely.
It wasn't that, girl.
Last on the runway is Utica. Utica. And I said that I'm obsessed with it. And I think that we're on the same page that I have yet to see something that Utica's worn that I have not really enjoyed, because I think that she genuinely thinks about everything she puts on her body, and there's a message or a reason, or it's not just kooky, crazy, wacko. It's intention that people don't get.
Yes, she has. She is pulling from references and places that a lot of people may not understand, but it works so well for Utica that we love it.
I love it. After all of that, and they get their critiques and everything, there's no eliminations, so Commore is safe because she definitely would have been the bottom and it would have had to lip sync. And in the top, it is Rose and Denali, which I was actually kind of shocked about. I did not expect them to be the top two. I genuinely thought the way that they were speaking that Tamesha was going to be in the top two, the way that the judges were talking about her.
Yeah, I could see that. Oh, I just went out of focus. I could see that. I could see how the judges were talking, but then again, I feel like I've had a traumatic week with the judges. What I felt was honestly that it would have been Denali and Utica or Rose and Utica. I didn't consider Rose and Denali to be together.
Same.
I consider they were interchangeable to me, where Utica I felt was just already in the top.
I thought Utica was in the top as well.
Yeah.
Because of everything, like full circle moment, everything.
Package. If you look back from the very beginning of the episode all the way through, like everything worked.
It's Denali and Rose in the top two for $5,000, and they lip sync to Britney Spears's "If You Seek Amy."
Yeah, I love that song.
It's a great song. It's a great lip sync song. I thought they both killed it, and I thought it was really tight and close. I think the only thing that made me sell it, because I thought Denali was the winner as well. Denali seemed more controlled.
Yes, and that's I want to make a comment about this with Rose. Like, I don't feel the way I am with Elliot with two T's. I feel like I could be about Rose, but Rose does have this like star quality that comes off. But at the same time, she does this thing that sometimes bothers me with queens, where it comes off like she doesn't have her own brand. Like, I don't know who Rose is. She just does everything that drag can possibly be. She throws it into a pot and mixes it all up and tries to do it. And it's like, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you love all forms of drag and you appreciate all things that drag is. But at some point, I just want to see what Rose is.
Denali won that lip sync between the two of them, and all of them get to slay another day. Next week, all of the girls are combined. And
girl, I'm tired. I'm tired.
I'm already tired. I know.
I'm over it. I want to see someone go home. And like I said, I mean, I wouldn't be happy about my favorite going home, but I'd rather my favorite go home than watch 3 episodes. But again, we have to shout out the fact that people are doing this kind of art during the middle of a quarantine, during the middle of a moment, and they're making it happen. So
yeah, they're doing the best that they can with what they have to work with. And if they're going to drag it out, they're going to drag it out into each season so that you have a full year of Drag Race at this point.
Exactly. Which, kudos to them. They're making money.
Do you have any changes in who you think is in the top or anything from this group? Does this group assure, or it doesn't? It really doesn't.
No, honestly, it was sad. That's why I was so upset about a 3rd episode without anyone going home, because there was no one that actually stood out. I didn't really care about the bottoms in this episode. There was just no tops to me. Like, there was nobody that could stand up to a Candy Muse, a Tina Burner, a Simone.
Simone.
That Denali, maybe. Like, I could see Denali moving up in that world. But the fact that there was nobody that just stood out the way Simone, Candy, Tina Burner, Olivia did, it just took me out of it. So I don't think anything's changed. I still see Candy, Simone, Tina Burner, Olivia in my top. I will say that now my bottom looks a little different. Like, Elliot with 2 T's, obviously. For Commore to now be in my bottom was shocking me.
We will get to see next week who stays, who gets eliminated, all the challenges and more. Hopefully we get something a little bit more exciting when they're all shoved together. Otherwise, you've got to see the Denver Divas review of episode 3 for RuPaul's Drag Race season 13. Comment below. Do you like what we have to say? Do you give a shit? Do we say things that matter? Probably not.
Again, Jessica, I love you. I appreciate you. I respect you. I'm so glad that we're doing this together, because we're really doing differences of opinions in drag. We have very different views of drag while also having the same
Same
This?
ideas.
What is it called? Butthole?
This is a
We
Virginia.
have the same butthole of drag. But different opinions about our buttholes, you know?
That's okay. All right, everybody, make sure to tune into next week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you.
Oh, damn it.
That's a shake, baby. That's a sip and shake.
A ship and shake, a stripper shake.